Noma lived in a small African village where everyone knew one another. She lacked a family of her own because she was an orphan. Noma was a hopeful person with a good heart, even if she was lonely. She hoped one day to discover a community that loved and accepted her just the way she was. An odd visitor showed up in the village one day. A towering figure, he sported a long coat that fluttered in the gentle breeze. The mysterious man greeted Noma with a kind grin and presented her with numerous presents. Noma was taken aback by the stranger's kindness, but she was thankful anyway. These presents would alter the course of her life in ways she could never have imagined. The first item the stranger gave Noma was a porcelain doll with beautiful lace clothes. She had never seen a doll so stunning. Noma's eyes shone with excitement as she clasped it in her palms. The stranger informed her that the doll was special and would bring her happiness. Excitedly, Noma accepted the gift and thanked the stranger. Over the following days, more gifts arrived for Noma. Each one was more appealing than the previous: a silver locket, a crystal vase, a golden pocket watch. The locals urged Noma to be cautious, but she was charmed by the beauty of the gifts. She couldn't resist their charm, even as a sense of worry began to creep into her heart. Noma displayed the gifts in her modest house. Weird things began to happen. When Noma was alone, objects moved by themselves, and murmurs resonated through the rooms. She experienced horrible nightmares at night about mysterious shadows and disturbing voices. Noma felt as if she was being watched, and a sense of dread persisted in the air. She realized something was really wrong, but she couldn't bring herself to part with the gifts. Unbeknownst to her, malicious spirits hid within each object, feeding on her fear and becoming stronger with each passing day. Noma, desperate for information, went to the local elders for support. They disclosed a horrifying story of treachery and retaliation that had dogged the town for many years. The neighborhood had once been home to a wealthy family, whose brutality and selfishness caused the inhabitants great misery. They had struck deals with evil forces in their thirst for power, entangling evil spirits with their valuables. The family was decimated when the townsfolk turned against them, but the curse they had cast was still there and had lain dormant until this point. Noma made the decision to find out the real meaning of the gifts after realizing she was the unintentional pawn in this long-standing rivalry. Noma went up to the mysterious stranger who had given her the gifts, determined now. His amiable exterior gave way to reveal the dark side of who he was, the patriarch of the family's malevolent spirit, bent on exacting retribution from beyond the grave. Noma was made fun of by him when he told stories about how vulnerable and alone she was, and for daring to stand up to him. But Noma, driven by her love for her village and the power of her belief, would not give up. She vowed to put an end to the spirit's reign of terror once and for all, demanding that they release their control over her and the hamlet. Noma discovered that she needs to make amends for the wrongs of the past in order to placate the evil spirits, which led her to pursue breaking the curse. In order to find the secrets buried beneath layers of darkness and deceit, she set out on a perilous expedition with the assistance of the village elders. Noma confronted the demons that plagued her soul along the journey by facing her own anxieties and uncertainties. She was prepared to give up everything to keep her house and the people she cared about safe, even though she knew the road to redemption would not be simple. The last struggle with the evil spirits was a contest of cunning and wills. Using her newfound understanding and her inner fortitude as weapons, Noma resisted the dark forces with determination. She confronted the ghosts head-on and defied their evil desires with the help of her fellow people. Noma unleashed a strong force of love and light as the conflict came to a head, permanently driving the darkness out of the hamlet. The evil spirits finally lost control over Noma and the people, and they let out an agonized cry as they were hurled into the empty space. After the curse was lifted, Noma came out of the experience unbowed but permanently changed. Her bravery and sacrifice in rescuing their home won her praise from the villagers, who acclaimed her as a hero. But Noma didn't lose her modesty, understanding that she had only been a little part of a much bigger drama. The relationships she had formed and the lessons she had discovered along the way gave her comfort. Noma faced the future with optimism and fortitude, even though the wounds from the past would never completely heal, for she knew that she was no longer traveling alone.